ended up living in a homeless shelter.
Wow.
Before we moved into the homeless shelter, we lived in that car. By the time I had 2 kids, I might have talked to my dad maybe 4 or 5 times that I could remember. I'm like, my kids gonna be on it. I was teaching my boys how to read when they came out the womb. I didn't want my boys to end up like many of my friends. I went to funerals in high school of friends that were my best friends who got murdered, you know.
Mentality Podcast, where strong mentality or mental strength is the ability to cope with challenges, maintain a positive outlook, and persevere through adversity. We encourage all men to search his own soul, identify his weaknesses, and also absolutely embrace and display his greatness. Men's mental health matters. I'm your host and founder, Mr. TDH. Welcome everyone to the podcast today. Thank y'all for tuning in with us today. Got a special guest today. Man, the man wears so many hats. I don't even know where to start at. So many things, man. So many things. But Dr. JT Taylor, thanks for being here, bro. Thanks for being here.
Glad to be here, brother. Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for stopping by. And JT, you want to give yourself a little brief introduction, man? Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, what's going on, everyone? Dr. JT Taylor here, CEO and founder of Purpose Pushers LLC, an educational consulting company that serves schools, educational institutions, and organizations all over the country. And I also serve as the director of operations for communities and schools of Hampton Roads. I'm a husband. I'm a father of 5. And I'm just honored to be here with you, brother.
I like it, bro. I like it, bro. JT, a couple things stand out to me, man, about you. And I don't know all that you got going on, but I just know a little snippet of what you have going on, man. And I know that whatever you do, you represent it well.
Thank
you. You represent it well, brother. I want to tell you that, man.
I appreciate that.
And so one thing that stands out to me all the time when I think about you is coming from humble beginnings. Coming from humble beginnings, man, being a teenage father, and your perseverance, bro. You know, through whatever life placed at you or whatever life came at you with, you kept going, man. And today you stand before us with a PhD, bro.
God is good.
Dr. JT Taylor. You know what I'm saying? Put the doctor on my name.
Yeah, man. It's been a crazy journey, man. And I feel like when you talk about perseverance, to be honest, I think about my mom because she was a single parent, but one of the phrases she would always say is, "We're soldiers."
Okay.
You know, you just got to keep on going.
Good God Almighty.
And this is when I'm a young child. It's like that's the phrase she would say. And it's interesting coming from a mother.
Yes.
But she like, look, we're soldiers. You know, whatever we got to do, we just got to keep on going. And yeah, man, I tried to embody that throughout my life. And Lord knows I had to try to embody it because things kept on coming. But it's like, you know, I always had to tell myself, man, just keep on going.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
Well, you done well, bro.
I appreciate it, sir.
You done well. I promise you. You carried that soldier title well, brother.
I appreciate it.
Hey, JT, how would you describe your childhood?
Man, it's crazy. Thinking about my childhood is, I mean, the best way to say it is, I was in survival mode.
Okay.
I was really in survival mode. And it started when my uncle, he was in a horrific accident, a car accident on the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. I probably was maybe 6 or 7. I know I was like kindergarten age at the time.
Okay.
But my family is from New York, so when he got into the accident, it was like, it was so bad, the doctors didn't think he would survive. So when my family got the phone call that he was airlifted from the Chesapeake Bay Bridge to Norfolk Centera, my mother packed up our belongings and, you know, we drove from New York to Virginia, and we end up living in Virginia. We end up living in a homeless shelter. And
Wow.
before we moved into the homeless shelter, we lived in that car. It was a 1987 Ford Fairmont.
And that's
You know what I'm
something.
saying? And
Wow.
my mom nicknamed the car Betsy, and it was
Betsy.
it's
Old
crazy.
Betsy.
Betsy was faithful, man.
Yeah.
Betsy not only got us from where we were at to Virginia, but it also became our home for about 3 to 4 weeks. And then my mother found us refuge at a congested homeless shelter in Norfolk. From the homeless shelter, we stayed there for about a year. I went to schools in Norfolk for the first year.
Mhm.
Then we moved to South Norfolk.
Okay.
My mother applied for Section 8 housing. We got approved, and we relocated to the South Norfolk borough, and I grew
Gotcha.
up in Wilmer Place.
Okay.
And so my childhood, it was really about surviving, because it wasn't just that one incident, but it was surviving South Norfolk in those 90s, when you had the crack epidemic. You had
the whole environment.
man, it was dangerous out there,
For sure, man.
and so surviving that, during my childhood, yeah, that's how I really would say my childhood was survival mode. But I don't want to make it seem like it was all bad,
Yeah.
because I had so much fun.
Man, I was talking to another brother, and he was saying, man, what his struggles were, right? As a child,
Yeah.
what his challenges were, adversity and everything. And he said, man, it sounds really bad, but I had a great childhood.
I'm telling you.
Because it's almost like when you're in it, you don't know no other way.
It's a fact.
So this is just a way of life.
Facts.
It's no big deal.
It's a fact. And I never looked at it as it was a bad thing at the
That's
time.
right.
Now looking back, I can say, man, you were surviving.
Yes.
But at the time, I was having the time of my life.
You had the time of your
I
life.
was hanging out with the fellas, and back then we were going to neighborhoods. Like, we didn't care what the danger was. People said, man, don't go in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
We like, man, we on bikes. We going everywhere.
We going over there and hang out.
Playing sports.
For
I
sure.
played sports my entire life, from, midget league, rec, all the way up to varsity in high school. So sports was a big part of my childhood.
Yeah.
Shout out to all my coaches, man. My coaches, Coach Lamb, Coach Dwayne Merritt, Coach Dion Bell. These were the men who helped shape me in my formative years, because
some good role models.
Man, they challenged me.
Yeah.
They were disciplinarians.
Yeah.
Get down, get them chopping, give me 6
There
inches.
you go.
It was like you had to be on top of your game. And so my childhood was, I enjoyed it. It was tough. In my neighborhood, everybody had to be tough.
That's right.
There was no room for weakness. It was like you had to be a tough guy.
And, man,
so
it's funny that you say that, though, JT. So that was that era, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're in an era where it's like, how dare you tell somebody to be tough?
Yeah.
Like, don't tell nobody they have to be tough.
Yeah.
And you like, nah, man, you had to be tough.
It was mandatory.
It was mandatory.
I mean, if you weren't tough, the type of flack you was gonna get,
life was gonna be hard for you.
My gosh. You had to walk around the neighborhood mean mugging everybody. Like,
Yeah.
no, don't come over here. It was like, that was what it was.
That is so true, man.
But it was cool. I had a blast in my childhood. In fact, one of the things that I really wish my children could experience that I experienced was a real sense of community. Because it was like, in the hood, everybody knew everybody.
Everybody knew everybody.
You knew people's mothers and fathers, and it was one community. Whereas, like, my kids growing up in a middle class setting in a neighborhood where it's people in the neighborhood, but we don't know them, and then they don't know us.
you.
But in the hood, it was like
everybody knew
that's
everybody.
such and such that you knew everybody. So
you knew who brothers, you knew sisters, you knew everybody, man.
It was a community.
That is so true, man. Sure. And just, being outside was another thing that our kids probably never get to experience the way that we did. Because we was outside.
Yes, sir.
Outside.
Yes,
man,
sir. And in my neighborhood, it was like whatever season it was, that's the sport we were playing.
That's right.
So if it was baseball season, we playing baseball. If it's basketball season, we playing basketball. Punishment. The worst punishment was you can't go outside.
You can't go outside.
What? Man, I can't go outside. No, stay in the house.
You like, I'd rather get the whipping. Give me the whipping now. But let me go with the fellas.
It's a fact.
Yeah, man, that's
Those
tight,
were the
man.
days, man.
So, JT, did you grow up with your father or without your father?
Man, I grew up without my father.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in a single parent home. It was just my mother, my brother, and myself. And yeah, in fact, like I had never physically seen my father.
Okay.
And, I saw him in photos, because when my uncle got into that car accident, my father lives in New York.
Okay.
So my grandparents, my whole family pretty much lived in New York. But
Okay.
my mother uprooted us. And when we came down here, she just never went back.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I would hear my mother tell me the stories about my dad. I would talk to him on the phone every now and then, but a handful of times.
Wow.
Literally, like by the time I had 2 kids, I might have talked to my dad maybe 4 or 5 times that I could remember. Maybe more when I was younger that I
Yeah.
don't remember, but
Mm-hmm.
middle school and high school when I probably needed more male role
Yeah.
model,
Yeah.
he wasn't in the picture.
Gotcha.
In fact, what's so crazy is when I became a father, my oldest son, we were eating dinner at the dinner table one day. I remember like yesterday, we were eating spaghetti. And my son, we were all just talking, and he said, "Hey, Dad, where's your dad?"
Wow.
And it was like literally in that moment, I had kind of blocked it out because I
Mm-hmm.
had lived so long without him. I never really thought about his absence.
Yeah.
It just was what it was. But when I became a father, I recognized that my sons would always yearn for their grandfather.
Wow.
Because they're like, "Well, Dad, we love you. You always here.
Yeah.
Where's your dad?
Where's your
You know
dad
what I'm
at?
saying? Like, we got one, but where's
How old
yours?"
you think your sons were at that point?
They had to been probably like 9 and 10.
Okay.
Yeah, probably like 9 and
Inquisitive.
10. Inquisitive.
Yeah.
Like we just sitting at the dinner table and they just want to know, hey, we know about mommy's dad,
Oh, that's
grandpa,
another thing. Yeah.
but Dad, where your dad
Where
at?
your dad?
And I said, he's in New York. And they said, well, why can't we go see him then? And I said, we will one day. And they were like, all right. But it was like after that conversation, and my mother used to call me. She'd be like, "Hey, you need to try to get in contact with your dad." But if I can be honest, for me, it was like, he need to put some effort into
he
it.
should be getting in contact with me.
He got to put some effort into it.
Yeah.
It can't be every time I'm want to talk to him, I'm making an effort, because over time it's gonna make me feel like he don't really want the relationship.
There you go.
So if he don't want the relationship, I'm not gonna force him to be in a
Yeah.
relationship that he's not really pursuing. And so that's kind of where I was with it. But once my sons made me realize like it was something that they wanted, I
Mhm.
said, all right, let me give them a call.
Okay.
So
And you probably in what, your late 20s at this time?
yeah,
Okay.
yep, late 20s, yep. And I'm working as a teacher. And I
Okay.
remember driving to the school the next morning, going to work, and that was on my mind because my mom had always been trying to get me to contact
Yeah.
him. And I was like, I don't want to contact him. I've already contacted them before.
Yep.
It ain't really go nowhere. So
Mhm.
what's the point? But after that, it was a little bit on my heart that I probably needed to reconnect with him because I didn't know what his frame of mind was. Like I didn't
Gotcha.
know if he was being eaten up by, unforgiveness, feeling like
Yes.
he
Guilt,
had
all
disappointed
kinds of
us
stuff.
and he
Yeah.
had this guilt and all of that. And I didn't want him to feel that way because at that point in my life, I love life. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like I don't feel his absence hindered me. In
Yeah.
fact, I feel like it actually blessed me. It actually blessed me in the long run because
Oh.
I feel like personally, I wouldn't even have tried to develop a relationship with God if I had him, because that's one of the reasons I sought after God. I'm like, I need help in my journey as a man.
Wow.
I don't have anyone to show me how to be a man, but
Okay.
I'm reading this text about this perfect father
Yeah.
and how he operates with his son and with his children.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to be like how God
Yeah.
operates.
I want a part of that.
I want a part of that. So I feel like that's what made me hunger and thirst for God. It was the fact that I didn't have
Wow.
a natural father to kind of break bread with and have these conversations and gain wisdom from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I sought it through the Bible. But yeah, man, my dad was never there. Like
Wow.
all of those touchdowns that I scored, because I played football all the way up, and that's how I got to college.
Okay.
Every great accolade that I accomplished, it was just my mom, you know what I'm saying, and my brother, and we were a tight knit group.
Wow.
It was just us.
Yeah.
So it was like I was all my mom had. Me and my brother were all she had, and she was all we had. But pops really wasn't there. But the crazy thing, Travis, is my mother never talked bad about him.
Okay.
She never made us feel like he was a horrible person. In fact, the way she would talk about him would make you be like, hold up.
Yeah.
If he's such a good person, why he
This
ain't
guy-
there for
this guy-
why he ain't there for his kids?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it don't make sense.
Yeah.
But it was like, even my uncle was like, look, man, your dad is just a great guy. He's a cool guy. You know, my dad is Jamaican, you know,
Okay.
100% Jamaican accent. You can barely understand what he's saying. He like, yo,
Wow.
what's up, my son? And it's like, oh, hey, look, slow it down, help me understand.
Yeah.
But he had like 10 kids.
Wow.
So I felt like that he probably won't there for nobody. Maybe he was going through something in his life. He became overwhelmed and all he knew was, let me just run away from my responsibilities.
He definitely was going through something.
Yeah.
Now,
exactly.
what he was going through,
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know, but he definitely was going through something, man.
Right.
And you just know that just off of the empathy
For sure.
that you have as a man
For sure.
another man.
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying. You know whatever the role was to be.
But here's the last thing, Travis, about it.
What's that?
When I turned 34. When I turned 34, I was invited to this conference in New York.
Okay.
And so I had paid for my hotel room, paid for my airfare, hopped on the flight, and went to New York. And so where the conference was at was in Queens.
Okay.
So my dad lives in Queens.
Ooh.
So my dad has other children, obviously, and so we actually connected on Facebook.
Okay.
My wife was trying to throw me some type of, I don't know if it was my 30th or something. She was trying to do something. So she started connecting with my brothers. I got brothers who 1 year older than me who I had never met. Wow. I got another brother who just turned 50. I had never met him. Got like 6 sisters, had never met them. So my wife was trying to coordinate something to me. She thought it would be a blessing. She kept it a secret. It ended up not working, but she ended up getting in contact with them.
At least the contact was made.
So when I went to New York, I hit my brother. I was like, I typed him on Facebook like, yo, hey bro, I'm gonna be in New York on these dates. And he hit me back. Soon as you touch down, give me a call.
Okay.
I'm gonna come through, hang with you, blah, blah, blah. So literally that's what happened. I went to New York, called my oldest brother, Asu Keeley. He came to the hotel, picked me up, and we were talking. And I said, hey, where Pop stay? Because I heard he stay in Queens. He said, he stay in Queens. You want to go see him?
Wow.
I said, let's go and see him. I seen my pops for the first time.
Come on, bro.
I was 34 years
34 years old.
So literally, when I went to see him, I knew in my heart, I said, number one thing you got to make sure he understands is you forgive him. No matter what went down with him and my mom, no matter why that relationship didn't work.
Yeah.
I went to New York to go to the conference and meet with him and let him know, like, hey, Pops, thank you.
Crazy, bro.
Thank you. Because if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here. And if I wouldn't be here, my beautiful kids wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
so
I wouldn't have his family. I wouldn't have his life. Yeah.
Yeah. So literally, it was like,
that's
my
crazy,
pops,
man.
when he heard I was coming, he was like, what? All right, great. I'm going to cook you something to eat. Because my mom used to always tell me he was a chef.
Okay.
She like, he had a